Welcome to the Doc G Show, a radio show cluster. Without further ado, critics have said he has the face for radio and a voice for silent films. Your host, Ben Doc G Gordon.
And we are on the air. Welcome to the Doc G Show. I'm your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus, the Whispering Papa, Charette.
Dr. Gordon, how are you, sir?
I am good, Mike. I do want to apologize to the listeners. The show quality last week was not great. But it was not because of what I thought it was going to be not great for.
Yeah, the audio quality wasn't great. The show quality itself is always
the show
amazing.
quality was great. The show quality was great. You just couldn't hear Mike, really. That's the problem. See, I was so concerned. The whole time I set it up, I was like, oh, man, our mics are too close in the room. I should have just tested, like, the bleed over. Now I'm going to have this weird echo effect on the mics. No problem with that, Mike.
Nope.
Sounded completely fine. The problem was you were backed off your mic, and I was all eating my mic over here, and then it was on the same file, listeners. So there wasn't anything I could do. So when Mike was talking and I was talking, it's just one big audio blob, and I can't do anything about it. If I make me louder, I make Mike louder. I make Mike louder, I make me louder. So
Yeah.
that's why we need an audio engineer, Mike. I need a guy that just sits here in the studio 24 hours a day,
Outsource it, man.
ready to fix our mics.
Word.
Yes.
But nonetheless, listeners, we are back. We are in different states, but don't worry, because our audio will be kick this week. It
Yes, it
will
will.
be good. Mike, it was great to see you, sir.
That was great to see you too, Doc G.
It was a good time, even though you had to skedaddle, had to hang out with your mom. Understandable.
Yeah. Boring.
Well, before, let me ask you this. Were you excited to see your daughter again?
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, wild. Seeing her, yeah.
Now,
That's
was she
crazy.
super happy, or was she like, oh, crap, this guy again?
Well, I was worried. I was like, does she recognize me?
Yeah. Did
At
she?
first,
Did
she
it
was
seem like she did?
I don't know. I think she was so disoriented from
the travel.
From the being in a plane and all that stuff. And I think she's like, "What are you? Who are you?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "It's me, the guy. It's me, not mom." I call myself not mom.
Yes, the alternate. Not mom. I'm here,
Yeah.
and she was
But yeah, it was
like,
good.
I'm drunk off of traveling. I don't know what they're talking about.
What is this place?
Yeah. No, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it. She came. Not to be vulgar, listeners. She came out of your wife, Mike, and
Yes.
and she's been in the same place ever since. And then all of a sudden, now she went across the country, listeners. Mike met them at his wife's parents, and like, I mean, that's a big trip. That's crazy. You know, for for a kid that has been in the exact same spot, they haven't seen their surroundings change. That's, I mean, you know, pretty nuts. Pretty nuts.
That's wild.
But Mike, I'm glad you're reunited, and I'm glad everything's going well. I had an occurrence happen this week that I wanted to bring up real quick because it just I went down a rabbit hole thinking about it. So they're working on the alarm sensors on the doors in my office building this week. You know, so they're just these dudes that are always beside the doors doing stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And at one point I was walking down the hall, sort of side by side, one of the dudes, you know, that was working on the doors. We had to fill the void, you know, because it's a long hallway. And we're just walking beside each other. I thought about just doing the eyes straight ahead and acting like there's no one right beside me, but I was like, small talk. I got to do something. I got to throw in some small talk, you know? So, like we talked about in the top 3, my go-to small talk, I was like, I know what this guy does. He's working on doors. So, like, I said something about the doors. And then I was like, how many doors you gotta fix today? And he said like 20.
Jeez.
You know? And I was like, oh, God, man, that's a lot of doors. You know, I said something like that. Like I made a face, was like, oh, whoa. And he was like, hey, man, as long as we get to work inside, I'm fine with it. It's too hot outside to be working today, brother. And you know, I gave him a response like, I hear ya. Yeah. You know, and kept walking. Now, what this made me think of, Mike, when this happened was a person's filter. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I think you can learn a lot about a person by how fast someone throws out a curse word like that. You know? I've got a very, like, I'm going to evaluate the situation.
That's a fact.
You know, before I start throwing them. This dude waited 4 seconds of knowing me and threw out an F-bomb. Was just like, bombs away. And
Must have been from Boston.
He was.
That's a Boston
trust me,
move.
That was a Florida-bred man right there. You could tell.
All right.
You could tell he was from the high grass and pines of Florida right there. But I mean, yeah, you know. And like I thought about it. It tells you two things right off the bat when somebody does that. Like when they do drop some curse words right away. One, it tells you generally that person is going to be fairly honest with you, I think. That person's not a sugarcoater usually when that happens, right? They're not going to be strategically saying things, deciding like, is it worth it if I say this? Nah, they're just going to say it. They just got to, hey man, those pants suck. Oh, I guess I'll change my pants then. Thanks. You know, like.
Those pants suck.
Yeah, they're one of those people. Like, you know? And like, if you're friends with that person though, the second thing is, not only are they going to be honest with you, but they're also somewhat of a social cannonball. You know, like they are going to be really beneficial in some situations, but they can also be really dangerous depending on the situation.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Like you bring that person like with you with other friends. You bring that cannonball to hang out with your other two friends and you leave them alone for like 10 minutes and all of a sudden you come back and he's already told one of them that their wife has gotten fat since they got married. And he's like, I don't know, maybe you divorce her. And you're like, what the? That's true, but don't say anything. Why are you saying this, you know?
Girl, come on.
But like another scenario, you know, let's say you go out with another friend and that friend has grew a mustache. And it's a really bad mustache. You know, it's not like a Tom Selleck or a Sam Elliott mustache that you can rock unironically and just be like, my God, that is a man, you know? And he's not one of those dudes that can rock it ironically and just be funny and be like, oh, this is my mustache. It's quirky. He's in the middle. He's just frightening kids and grossing out ladies. And you don't know how to tell him your mustache sucks. Well, you bring your cannonball of a friend, and in 2 seconds, he's told him you need to shave immediately. Literally, when he first meets that guy, he's going to be like, God, that mustache sucks, dude. Get rid of it. And then your friend will be like, should I? And you'll be like, well, I don't know. I mean, you're making some sense there, right? Maybe, I don't know. Whatever. It's crazy. Anyways, just planting seeds. I'll see ya, you know? But I think most of us are like me, Mike. For the most part, most of us are selective filters. You observe the room. How much filter do you need for this room? You know? You're at a church picnic with ladies all over 65. I need a heavy filter. I'm going to refrain from saying most of the things I want to say. You know?
Yeah.
But then, like, and we actually see it on the show. That's the wild part. In my interviews, some musicians, comedians, they come on and just start throwing out F-bombs left and right. They don't ask a policy or anything. They're just like, you know, then I was doing this. And you're like, whoa, you just laid into that, right? Then other artists come in and like 50 minutes, nothing. And then they're like, and then I couldn't believe that happened. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Are we allowed to use profanity? Like, they let the filter out just real slowly,
Yeah.
And so I think there's a little bit of a mix. And I got to say, thinking about it in pertaining to our show, Mike, listeners, if you are that type of person, the no filter type of friend, for the love of God, don't leave us a comment. I can't take it.
Please don't.
I will not be able to handle your no filter comment. If you have a ton of filter, go ahead, leave us a comment. We'd love it.
Sweet.
We'd love your veiled comment to us. Mike, are you ready to fire up the strategically filtered show?
Let's fire up the show, Doc G.
All 3 engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and lift off.
Oh my gosh, Mike, we
Can't promise a filter, though. I'm sorry.
What's that?
I said I can't promise a filter, Doc G. I am that guy. I drop curse words
you
pretty
have
fast.
a filter. You have a filter. You have
At church functions, I'm pretty good, but outside of church, I'm not.
I
good
think
with
you have more of a
not
filter
cursing.
of choosing not to speak, Mike. That's what I see as your filter.
Okay, I appreciate that.
You leave it out, right? But if somebody
Yeah.
says something to you, you're probably not going to hold back as much.
Cannonball. All
Yeah,
the way,
a
all the
little
way, yeah.
bit, a little bit.
Yeah.
You're like you said, you're not a Bostonite. You're not at that level. That's a whole nother level. I don't have any psychological reason of why that occurs, Mike. I'll have to dig into the psyches of Bostonites. But
Yeah.
Mike, we have a fantastic show. I'm very excited about this guest. We have the guitarist for the fantastic band Counting Crows. My goodness, Mr. David Immergluck. Woo! I've said it before. I've said the songs, Mike, but Accidentally in Love, Mr. Jones, Big Yellow Taxi, Round Here, Long December, Hanging Around. Woo! They've got them, man.
Hits and hits and hits.
Yeah, I've been jamming on them since I was a wee little tyke, Mike.
Same.
Yeah. I remember back in 94, listeners, to listening to Casey Kasem, Top 40 Countdown.
Yeah.
Listeners under the age of 30, that's a radio show.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to that radio, jamming on Mr. Jones, man.
Yeah.
I went back and I looked it up, Mike. Do you think Mr. Jones ever made it to number 1 on the countdown?
Yeah. I'm going to go with a yeah.
Got so close.
Really?
Got to number 2, Mike.
Number 2.
Number 2, and it stayed there for 6 weeks at number 2. You know what was number 1 for 6 weeks? So those 6
Around
weeks
that
it couldn't
time?
pass?
Man, I don't. I want to say like a Sheryl Crow or Alanis Morissette song, but I might be way off.
Alanis is too early. That would have came in 95. Cheryl could be on. But mother flippin' Ace of Base.
Ace of Base.
Ace of Base, man. The Sign was the song.
Yeah, that was a good song.
And, I went back. I'll be honest. This has nothing to do with Counting Crows, listeners. But I went back and I jammed on some Ace of Base.
Yeah.
And you got to admit, they've got some jams, too.
They do, too, yeah.
Like All
really
That
do.
She Wants. All that she wants. Here's another baby. She's gone tomorrow, boy. All that she wants. Here's another
Yeah.
baby. Yeah. Oh, God.
Word.
Mike, when I was 8, I took those lyrics 100% literal. Like, I thought there was a lady out there snatching babies. I was like, why haven't the cops arrested this lady? She's just out there wanting babies, stealing them from everybody. Somebody stop her. Like, I was so... And then, I realized. I was like, oh, she's talking about a dude. That's the baby. Oh, okay. It's like a boyfriend. I understand. I get it. Anyways, Ace of Base, they're great too. But
they are.
We don't have them on the show. We've got this.
Not yet.
Yeah, maybe someday, Mike. Maybe the Swedish powerhouses will come on our show at some point. But today, we've got the Counting Crows. We've got David Immergluck. Very excited. Before we start, Mike, we got to start where we start.
Birthday suits.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Mike, I am 99.8% sure on this one.
Wow.
I think that's even being conservative. I'm going to say 99.94%. Keep in mind, Michael Jordan's birthday is in February. Okay, here we go. Born on July 9th, 1956 in Concord, California, he's one of the greatest actors of the 20th and 21st century. He's won 2 Academy Awards, 7 Emmy Awards, 4 Golden Globes, a Tony Award, an AFI Lifetime Achievement Award, a Presidential Medal of Freedom, and he is the 4th highest grossing American film actor of all time. I can give you about 100 movies, but I'm going to give you one to get the clue, Mike. Forrest Gump.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks is correct. My goodness, Mike. Mike, you want to hear this insane list?
I almost wonder, sorry, Doc G, but I almost wonder how you could make it more challenging for me to be like, huh.
Well, I mean, I guess I could
like
give
me one of those really obscure
say,
movies. Yeah,
he has a. I left. So if you want to hear the list, here's the list, listeners, of just amazing movies. Here you go. Big, Turner and Hooch, League of Their Own, Sleepless in Seattle, Philadelphia, Forrest Gump, Apollo 13, Toy Story, Saving Private Ryan, You've Got Mail, The Green Mile, Castaway, Road to Perdition, Catch Me If You Can, The Terminal, Polar Express, The Da Vinci Code, Charlie Wilson's War, Toy Story 2, Captain Phillips, Toy Story 3, Toy Story 4, Bridge of Spies, Sully, The Post, Greyhound, Elvis, and The Phoenician Scheme. And that I just picked out most of the ones that I watched, Mike.
If you would have told me the Phoenician Scheme, like he was a leading star of the Phoenician Scheme, I'd have been like, I'm going to need some initials.
Well, that one just came out, Mike. That one just,
okay, well,
that's a brand
even
new
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia
one
is
of
a
his
jam.
earlier movies. I'd have been like, ugh.
Have you watched that, Mike?
No, I don't think so. I've never watched Philadelphia.
Get back on that one. That's a good
Yeah.
one. That one's
Yeah.
fall back on that. All right, now have you watched You've Got Mail?
I believe so. I believe I've watched You've Got
Sleepless
Mail.
in Seattle?
Yeah, Sleepless in Seattle. Did watch that one.
Now,
Yep.
a low-key one on that list that's amazing, Charlie Wilson's War.
Yeah, see, that would have been another one where you've been like starring role in Charlie Wilson's War. I would have been like, ooh.
That one has what's his name too? He passed away from addiction.
Philip Hoffman.
Yes, Philip Seymour Hoffman. There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah. It has him, and it also has Julia Roberts. Real solid movie. That's a good one. Really like that one. But Mike, on top of all those great movies, hosted Saturday Night Live 10 times.
Wow.
10 times. Also, didn't know this, Mike. He was granted Greek citizenship like 5 years ago. And he owns an island. Has a little house all by itself on this island.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, yeah. Looks very nice. Him and Rita go there, his wife, you know?
Yeah.
So, happy birthday to Tom, turning 69.
Yeah.
The big 6'9", Tom. Live it up, my friend.
Good for him.
Mike, we are going to move on. Are you ready to rip some headlines?
Let's rip some headlines, Doc G.
It's now time for Rip from the Headlines.
All right. Let's start this headline ripping with a banger from People. All right, here we go. Here's the headline. Freddie Mercury was warned not to get clever ahead of legendary Live Aid set. Just play the hits. Mike, you're aware of Freddie, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Lead singer of Queen.
Of course. Yeah.
Usually, speaking of mustaches, usually sporting a fantastic one.
Yes.
Now, are you familiar with Live Aid?
I actually watched his performance.
There you go.
On the
Like
That's when
recently?
he does. I think somewhat recently. That's where he's like, "Hey," and then he does that to the.
Yeah, oh,
audience,
yeah.
and
Well, he
like,
did that in a couple of but like that was
Oh,
a big
okay.
one because it was
Yeah.
70,000 people in Wimbledon, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But Live Aid was huge. It went all the way around the world, Mike. It was in multiple areas. And I looked at over 1.9 billion people were watching it live.
Oh, wow.
It's one of the most viewed live events in history. It actually was more people watching that than the moon landing, which was estimated like 1.5 billion.
Wow, that's wild. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a little bit of pressure getting out there on the stage with 1.9 billion. I'm sure they didn't know that
How many
number.
followers do you think you get off that nowadays?
You're definitely in the millions. Definitely in the millions.
You think a million?
I'd say. I wouldn't be surprised if you jumped a million, especially if you were like an unknown person. If you've already, sort of tapped out, you're already a super well-known group. I don't know if you're going to get much more,
I think if you were at 2,000 followers, I think you would get to about 600,000. We're losing every in the show.
No, you would get a million. I would guess you would get a million.
All right.
And I would say, so then the next day you would be 1,000,00002. Is that what you'd be at? 02. Yeah. But anyways, Mike, huge performances. U2, Sting, Dire Straits, David Bowie, Elton John, Paul McCartney, Black Sabbath, Crosby, Stills, Nash, Run DMC, Billy Ocean, Madonna, Neil Young. I highlighted Billy Ocean because we got turned down very nicely by him, listeners, if you remember. It was lovely. Anywho. So here's what happened, Mike. Brian May, the guitarist of Queen, was recently on Radio Times for an interview. And he said that before performing at Live Aid, Bob Geldof, who's like one of the organizers, Bob Geldof, he went to Freddie Mercury and he said, "Don't get clever, just play the hits. You have 17 minutes."
Word.
Which, I mean, like, I get what he was saying, Mike. Like, he's saying, hey, there's a bunch of other performers. Just play some awesome jams,
Mm-hmm.
They only have 17 minutes. But at the same time, like, that's a little insulting, the way that he presented it like that. When I read that, I was like, this is Freddie Mercury here. Like, if I were him and he told me that, I'd be like, oh, the hits? You mean our whole catalog? Every single one of them is a hit, Bob. We have 20 top 10 hits. Literally. We could play for an hour and play nothing but the hits.
Yeah.
Like, we could play Bohemian Rhapsody by itself for 17 minutes. Don't get clever. You shut the up, Bob. Like, just, I mean, I was
filters.
I was offended, Mike.
Yeah.
It was just like, I was like, come on. Like, I mean, I get it. You're playing a concert with Paul McCartney and other people that have a ton of hits too, but like, yeah, I got it. We got plenty of hits, bro. We'll handle it. Don't worry. Like, ridiculous. What's your favorite Queen song, Mike?
Probably Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, I'm a sucker for that song.
Classic.
It's
Classic. I like a couple of deep cuts on. I mean, not necessarily deep cuts because, like I just said, they're hits. But I like some of the less, like Fat Bottom Girls. Oh, that's a jam. I love Fat Bottom Girls. That is a rocker right there. Headlong. That I would say Headlong is a deep cut, but I like that jam. It's a good one, man.
Yeah.
And of course, We Will Rock You. Get Out of Town. My gosh, it was a jam. But anyways.
Yeah, I would have to. I'm not like a huge Queen fan, so I only know.
Yeah,
really
I wouldn't
the
consider
hits.
myself a massive Queen fan, but I definitely got some respect for them, that's for sure.
Oh,
I
for
put some
sure.
respect on their name, But anyways, Mike, got a headline here from Business Insider. Here's the headline. Bill Gates is worth $50 billion less than thought, and now trails his former assistant in net worth.
Wow.
So, Mike, this news came from Bloomberg, who recalculated Bill Gates' net worth, apparently factoring in his most recent philanthropic endeavors, and he lost about 30% of his total worth, which puts him in 12th place on the richest people in the world list. So, Mike, he now ranks absolutely abysmally with $124 billion.
Lame.
Now, in case you want a little comparison, Mike, relative to the median net worth of an American, median, not mean, median net worth of an American, his net worth is roughly equal to the net worth of 643,487 Americans combined. So, he's doing all right.
Insane.
He's doing all right.
Insane, man.
I gotta say,
so much money.
It is. And, that's the thing. I was like, anyone else find it a tad concerning that a guy is worth so much money that $50 billion is seen as, an accounting error? Like, oh, we miscalculated. It's $50 billion less. No, okay. He's still insanely rich. We got it. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is.
$50 billion, and he's still worth the same amount as 600,000 of us. It's crazy. And he's worth 17 million of me. So, whatever. Anywho, Mike, what would be the first purchase you would have if you were suddenly worth $50 billion?
Panerai.
What?
It's a watch. I would get a watch. That's the first
Really?
thing that comes to mind. Yeah, I would get a Panerai watch.
That would just
and
be
it's not even on the high end. It's like a $3,000 watch, but man, I've always wanted one of those.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
what about
man.
you?
Oh, real estate, no doubt.
Real estate?
Real estate, Mike. Mike, I would go find the fanciest effing house I can in Coral Gables in Florida, buy that mofo up. I would get one on somewhere near the Monterey Bay, a good $140 million house out there, just a massive compound. Maybe one in the middle somewhere like Colorado in the mountains, And then maybe one near my hometown somewhere in the mountains on the East Coast, And just, or maybe a giant penthouse too in Atlanta. I would buy it up. Like a third of that $50 billion would just be crazy real estate purchases.
Yeah. First, immediate purchase would be that watch. And then second, purchase in a few days would be something like that. I would probably go.
Yeah, you got to take a couple of days. You got to
house. I like that idea. Denver, yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to take some time. You don't want to rush into the house, And I might just buy some land and make an awesome house. You still with me, listeners?
Too much time. You worry about that?
That is true.
It just takes a lot of time. Get something that's already been made.
That's true.
Right?
It's as long as it's a good, house.
I like your idea of living kind of like in everything. So you live in on the beach, and then you live in the mountains, and then you live in a city. But
that's
all
the way
high-rises.
That's the way rich people do it, Mike. You've got a whole bunch of places, and I mean that's the cool thing is you can just change. You get tired of one place, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go live there for a while now.
Yeah.
All right. And you just get to switch it up. Oh God, I'd love it.
What do you think about high-rise living? Was this something you'd be interested in?
Not too interested. I mean, I like I said, it would be in my portfolio, but it's not my top. I don't need to be there are positives and negatives of high-rise, obviously.
Yeah, you saw that high-rise fire in Dubai.
Yeah, you got the high-rise fire. You got the building that just collapsed in Miami. What was that? 2 years ago or a year and a half? Oh
gosh, yeah. Oh man, that's tough.
You got to watch.
I mean, you got enough money, you just parachute off that thing. You just jump right off.
It feels like it's crumbling. Ah!
You have an escape vehicle that just pushes you out.
little jet pack.
Yeah.
Just eject right out.
Anyways.
Anywho, Mike, we need to take a break. We are going to be right back here on the Doc G Show. Back here on the Doc G Show, Spinnaker Radio, WSKR LP 95.5 FM in Jacksonville, Florida. Mike, What do the listeners need to do?
Well, Doc G, if the listeners feel like the show is a positive way to waste their time, then they should please subscribe to the show wherever they get their podcast. We are on everything, folks. We're on SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, Sirius. I'm probably missing something. Apple Podcast. We are on everything. Please subscribe to the show.
There it is.
And also leave us a nice review. Leave us a 5-star review. You don't even need to leave a review. Just give us 5 stars. Just like the show, whatever you can do.
Amen. Mike, a couple things on that. 2 updates for the listeners. Listeners, we are going to try, me and Mike are going to try soon of having high-def cams.
HD, crystal clear.
So get excited about the YouTube vids, all right?
Yes.
They're going to be sexy. And along with that, listeners, once I do that, I'm going to try to post every interview. I'm going to split it up, listeners. I'm not going to just do the whole show. That's an insane loading time. That would take like an hour and a half just to put the video on YouTube itself. So I'm going to split it into segments of the show. So we'll have Rip from the Headlines segment. We'll have the interview with the guest, but we'll have all of those vids on there. And guess what, listeners? I'm going to put them in playlist. That's right. I'm going to get fancy with playlists. Today, Mike and listeners, I'm making more playlists. We're going to put together some of the playlist of our hottest clips, listeners.
That's right.
Going to have like a playlist there for all of our 90s artists that we're on. Going to throw those all in a group so people can go down that,
like That's
memory lane, you know?
Good category.
Yeah, we're going to have one too, because there's a lot of clips that I did from Rip from the Headlines about rich people, like a couple of the ones that I did today. So we're going to have one on rich folks. That's going to be one, you know?
I'm feeling like a Tom Brady playlist.
Yeah, we'll have a TB playlist. We'll definitely have a TB.
Taco Bell talk.
There will definitely be a Taco. There'll be a Jordan, no doubt. We've got at least like
a lot of Jordan.
At least 12 clips on there of Jordan.
Ooh, I like Talko Bell.
Taco Bell.
Yeah, anyways.
Let's just have a podcast. We're going to have a spin-off podcast called Talko Bell. And all we're going to do is just
Taco Bell news.
Taco Bell news.
Oh, I love it, man. Taco Bell. See, now somebody's going to rip that idea from us right off.
Copyrighted. Mike Charette. No one else take it. Our
Taco
podcast. Taco Bell. Mike Charette, your host.
If I see that, I'm going to follow that keyword, and if anybody takes that as a podcast idea,
Mike, I'm putting out the video right now.
You know what?
So it's out there.
I'm getting TacoBell.com right now.
We're gonna see Taco Bell come out on YouTube. We'll know, and we'll be like, we'll direct the person to our show and say, yeah, you heard it here first, folks. Listeners are like, what are they talking about?
How much news could they have on Taco Bell?
Don't care. Except for one guy. That one guy is following us just for... He's like, finally! God! I'm going over to that show. Anyways, Mike, we need to thank the regulars of the show. Here we go. Shout out to Richardson, Texas, Barcelona, Spain, Winfield, West Virginia, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Peoria, Illinois, Katy, Texas, Toms River, New Jersey, Olive Branch, Mississippi, Asheville, North Carolina, Los Angeles, California, Spartanburg, South Carolina, Athens, Georgia, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Chicago, Illinois, Boynton, Virginia, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Columbus, Ohio, Falkenstein, Germany, Genoa, Italy, Jacksonville, Florida, Columbia, South Carolina, Radford, Virginia, Gainesville, Florida, Frankfurt, Germany, Fort Worth, Texas, Boardman, Oregon, Phoenix, Arizona, Anoka, Minnesota, Ashburn, Virginia, Piracai, Brazil, San Diego, California, Dublin, Ireland, and Biloxi, Mississippi. There we go. Whew. What's that, Mike?
There's already a Taco Bell podcast.
Oh.
I saw the domain was registered in 2022, and I was like, do they have a podcast? No, they do. All right. So, anyways, guys. We'll still create the playlist.
It's all been thought of, Mike.
It's anything original anymore.
No, it's not. You know what, though? We need to have those people on the show.
Yeah, we do. There's 2 Taco Bell podcasts.
Are they both called Taco Bell?
Yeah, Talko Bell, a podcast, and then there's just Talko Bell podcast.
Oh, now we need to figure out who came first, Mike. Who had that idea first? Who are the original?
There's like multiple Talko Bell podcasts. That's so funny. Anyways, all right, Doc G.
There are 37 Talko Bell podcasts.
Sweet.
Anywho, Mike, our semi-regulars, the 4-star listeners. First off, the MIA, Miami, Florida. Shout out to you guys. Thanks for listening. St. George, Granada. Oh, real quick, I'll go back. Miami, Florida, get ready for me to live there when I get $50 billion. Just side note, just get ready for me to move in. Next, St. George, Granada. Thank you, Caribbean listeners. We appreciate it. Green Bay, Wisconsin. Definitely the opposite of Caribbean.
Don't worry, we won't be buying any real estate.
I mean, I might get a lake house in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Who knows? Maybe a little
winter.
something. Yeah. No. Well, I mean, I'm only going to go there for a couple of days. So,
Winter getaway.
Yeah. Just
2 days.
Yeah. Atlanta, Georgia. Shout out to you guys. Richmond, Virginia. Shout out to you. London, England. Thank you for listening. Portland, Oregon, thank you. Dubrovnik, Croatia, thank you for listening. I just had a friend get back from Croatia, Mike. Said it was lovely, and I don't doubt it.
Looks like it.
Granada, Spain, España, shout out to you guys. Jakarta, Indonesia, thank you for listening. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Sydney, Australia. Madison, Wisconsin, and lastly, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Thank you for listening, folks. We appreciate it. Mike, I'm very excited. We are going to take a break. We are going to be right back with none other than David Immergluck right here on the Doc G Show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are very happy to be welcoming a musician that's done just about everything. He is the guitarist for Counting Crows, who are currently on tour and will be in St. Augustine at the amphitheater on July 19th. Mr. David Immergluck.
Yes.
How's it going?
Yes. Really, really good.
Yeah, how's tour?
So far, so good. We're a week in and getting our sea legs. I think today is my official first day of feeling normal out here again. Yeah, takes a while.
I mean, sort of like I said in the intro. I mean, you've done most everything in music. I mean, you've had 40 years in this industry.
Well, devil has work for our idle hands, and there's always more to do.
Where would you say
it's a lifetime pursuit, my friend? A lifetime pursuit.
It was as far as your favorite things to do. Where would you say summer tour with Counting Crows ranks on the list of musical endeavors?
What am I comparing it to?
Everything in the career, everything.
I mean, it's all
done.
for me, honestly, and Adam gets me when I say it, and other people get irritated. It's all just one thing to me. It's all, I played in a lot of bands. It's all one big band. I play a lot of instruments. It's all just one instrument to me. And touring is, I love touring and I love being in the studio. I'm a real creature of the recording studio. Do a lot of stuff outside of Counting Crows. Did a lot of stuff before Counting Crows.
Yeah.
But touring, we're a military campaign when we're touring. We've got it down to a science. We've been doing it for a long, long time, and it's almost like the more normal state than being at home.
Yeah.
being in a different city every night, different hotel room, and your brain just adjusts in a different way,
Well, it's
not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
Well, you said it's all part of one entity, part of the sort of musical endeavor.
Yeah.
And
that's how the musical endeavor. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
I've heard you've been chasing that musical dream. I heard you tell a story basically of your mom wouldn't let you see your brother's band rehearsal.
That's a good. How did you hear that one? But yeah, this is in I hate to tell you, but it was in the 60s. It would have been in the late 60s. And I have a brother who's, 7 years older than me. I pretty much got my love of music from him. But he had a band in high school, that they were probably sounding like the Yardbirds and the Butterfield Blues Band, that kind of thing. And this one time he played bass. He gave it up, but for some reason, I just latched on and I'm going to do that. But yeah, one day I came home from school. I must have been like 6 years old or something. So, 7 years old, maybe. It was 1968, maybe, or something. And they were rehearsing in our living room, which was down the hall from my bedroom. And it was loud as, and I went in, I dropped my things off in my bedroom and I was going to go out to the living room to watch. And my mom, who was this Amazoidal woman from Canada, incredible woman, was standing blocking the doorway, and her eyes were just black holes. You are not going down there. It's going to ruin your ears. And ever since that moment, I've been trying to get into that living room to this day.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense as far as driving that musical desire.
Yeah.
I also heard your brother. He, at the time when he was still into music, he was handing out posters for Fillmore concerts.
Wow, you need to send this interview to me. I haven't talked about that in a long time. But yeah, he worked for Bill Graham as a teenager, handing out those and putting up those posters, the famous psychedelic posters, right?
When I
all
heard
over San Francisco, all over the Bay Area, he and his friends would, staple them to telephone poles and stuff. And consequently, he also had a huge collection of them himself, which he decorated his bedroom downstairs. And he had black lights down there and all kinds of weird stuff. And he was also a sort of a electronic boffin, so he always had he had that weird Eno tape delay, 2 tape recorders set up to feed into each other, set up with his stereo system, and all kinds of weird stuff like that. So I'd always be going down into his room, and it was like this wonderland. And I stole records from him. I got a huge education just stealing records from him, which he allowed me to do. Thank God.
I was about to say he didn't get mad at you when you stole.
He would be. Pesky little brother, but at least it's good stuff he's stealing. So, So he gave me a precocious musical education. Miles Davis, Little Walter, big Butterfield Blues Band, of course. Big Brother and the Holding Company, Cheap Thrills was a key one.
Nice.
A lot of really cool records.
Now I hear another sort of musical education later in life. Once you actually started playing in bands. You went to see a band called Khartoum.
Wow,
Keystone.
Yeah.
And you took
Keystone Berkeley used to sneak into it all the time. Yeah.
You took lessons from Joseph Delia. As far as a couple things. So he was in this band, and he was he blew you away with his.
Yeah, they were like Yes, but they were playing in a little club, and he was like Steve Howe. He was like he could do all the stuff that I didn't know anything about. That I was trying to. We were playing Rolling Stones and Uriah Heep and Robin Trower and attempting Jimi Hendrix stuff. But he was onto some other stuff,
I mean, had you ever thought of doing that before? Because that always, I mean, it surprised me that you would just be like, you know what, I'm going to ask him if I can take some lessons.
Well, I took lessons really early on, and I sort of was excelling in a way that my teacher showed me rudiments. Oh, here's how this chord is. Here's how that chord is. And here's a couple of scales, but he wasn't really. I'd come in and I'd want to learn Jumpin' Jack Flash or some Beatles song, and that's not what he wanted to teach me. And eventually, I was just like, I'm just going to figure it out, listening to records. And eventually, I was with this guy for. I can't remember his name. I was with him it was from the local Berkeley music store that was in Berkeley. I was taking lessons. And eventually I just I'm doing better just teaching myself and learning off records, which I would recommend to anyone who wants to learn how to play guitar or be in a band. Train your ear by trying to learn off records, and I did that for years, and I had the advantage that, when I started, I was immediately in a band. I was 12 years old, and a friend of mine who I still make music with, and his older brother had a band, in, grade school and junior high school. And I just I want to do that. I want to learn guitar so I can be in that band. And we were in that band all through, from grade school, junior high school, and into college, pretty much the same band,
Yeah.
Certainly that, my buddy, the brother drifted away, but I had that advantage. I was putting it into, I was teaching myself, but I had an outlet to put it into practice right there, immediately, So that was, and I've been in a band since I was 12 years old. I've never not been in bands. It's a weird thing, when I'm quite a bit older. I'm quite a bit older than that. I've been doing music with Adam from Counting Crows for over 40 years, from before Counting Crows.
Well, I was about to say, I mean, you've known Adam, like you said, so long. You knew Adam before the Counting Crows. You introduced Adam to Dave Bryson.
That's correct.
The first time you met Adam, besides just being a good artist, did anything stick out to you that you were like,
well, we were, there's certain friends of mine who are fiendish record collectors and have a voracious appetite to hear more music and know more music and know more bands and do that. And I identified him as one of those people. We didn't agree on the same stuff, but he was consuming all kinds of stuff that I wasn't into, and I was consuming all kinds of stuff that he wasn't into or didn't know anything about. So that, here's I still have a small handful of these people in my life, and we are always still turning each other on to new music, old music, whatever we're into, And Adam's one of those people, and he was immediately, when I met him, he was one of those people. But I want to go back to Joseph Delia, because I have to say, I had been playing, I had that first teacher, but then I'd been playing in band, in this band for several years. And that was like sixth grade when I started. Yeah. Now we fast forward to the summer between 11th and 12th grade is when I saw that band Cartoon. And I'd I should go see if I can learn something from this guy, because I'd already had years of just teaching myself. And he just... In just a summer with him, I was with him for 3 months. I'd go every week, and he just crystallized some stuff, questions I had about what I was teaching myself. He just crystallized it all into a kind of a system. He taught me how to finger pick, and I'm still mulling over the stuff I learned from him in that very short period of time. But it was like one of those perfect storms where I had enough experience and playing in bands as well that I was in the right place at the right time for him to give me that information, That was Joseph Delia.
What would you say the biggest thing?
The modal theory that Miles Davis uses, and finger picking, those two things. The understanding of modal scales, and these wrong notes actually have names, and they're not wrong anymore. Dissonance is good if you know what you're doing.
If it's put in the right spot.
Things like that.
Well, now
and just pattern recognition. now I know that what this is, and I can see it in all these different musics, you know.
Yeah. Well, back to
it just hit me at the right time. I was really lucky.
When you met Adam, and you're like you were saying, big, both loving music, finding music in all of these different places. I'm guessing Adam came to sort of his music. It was a little bit more from the pop side than you, I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably something like that. I don't know about. Yeah, sure, you could say that, because I was, you know, at that point I was in my, you know, mid-20s, and I was feverishly being more and more aggressively freaky with my music, you know. You know, give me Henry Cow, give me Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band, give me Electric Miles, you know, that's what I was into.
Yeah.
And krautrock is what, you know, all, and, you know, hard psychedelia, you name it, you know, really, really hard rock. And Adam was in, you know, Adam liked Bruce Springsteen and Van Morrison, but we would meet like, oh yeah, Van Morrison, yes, you know. And Fairport Convention was a place where we met as well, you know, and British folk, and, you know,
there's always that common ground.
Yeah.
Well, now,
and it's still that way. I'm probably have freakier tastes than Adam to this day, you know. And I'm still consuming music at the same rate, you know.
I heard you and Adam talk about this is in another interview. You guys were talking about at the very start of the Counting Crows, when the band got signed. There was actually a sort of a good number of haters of the band in the Bay Area.
Oh yeah, yeah, big time. Do
you have any idea why? Like, well, I mean,
we can look at any kind of, you know, again, pattern recognition. You can see these city rivalries all the time. You know, the Bay Area hates LA. You know. Doesn't know what LA is, but it just knows to hate it, you know. New York, LA is generally hated, you know. Yeah. New York hates LA. San Francisco doesn't like, you know, New York. San Francisco doesn't like Orinda and Lafayette, you know, or even the East Bay. San Francisco doesn't like Berkeley, where we're from, you know. You know, Melbourne doesn't like Sydney. Cape Town doesn't like Johannesburg. I see it all over the world. You know, there's like, you know, everyone, you know, and
rivalry.
San Francisco is you know, I'm from there. Look, I can say it. So anyone else talks nasty about the Bay Area, I'll, you know, fight them. But I can say it. It's provincial, you know, and it doesn't know what's going on, and you know, someone gets success outside of the Bay Area, you know. They don't like, you know, people are rising up above their station. And Counting Crows in particular was poppier, and, you know, just the influences seemed at the time like it was Bob Seger and Bruce Springsteen as opposed to Iggy Pop and the Stooges and the Melvins, you know. And which is what the underground music scene in San Francisco was pretty much a lot like, you know, everyone wanted to be the Stooges, you know.
Right.
And Counting Crows were not that. They're, you know, much more wholesome sounding, and that really people off too, you know. Still to this day, you know. You know, and many of my friends still don't like Counting Crows. They come see us and they go, it's almost like, God, I hate to admit it. You guys are really good. Yeah, I know. To each their own, you know.
Well, I mean, so you worked on the first album. You recorded sessions for August and everything after.
Yes, I did.
Does anything stick out to you, like that you vividly remember during the recording sessions?
Well, I mean... It was T-Bone Burnett producing, okay, and this doesn't have much to do with the music because it was kind of like another day, you know, another day in the studio, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd done some recording in Los Angeles. I'd flown down to LA to do this with Adam.
Yeah.
And I was putting overdubs on tracks that were there. So it was just really me and Adam, and Dave Bryson was there, and T-Bone Burnett and the engineer, you know. But there was this, and we were, now the record had been recorded in a house that had been converted into a studio. Now it had moved to, they'd gone through a bunch of different studios. Now we're at Tito Jackson's studio in Encino, I want to say. And we were using his home studio. Mm-hmm. And there was this, you know, it was outfitted very nicely. Mm-hmm. And there was the, you know, the control room, and then there was the tracking room. It wasn't really set up for a band to record in, but it was definitely a great place for big enough for overdubs of any instrument. So I had all my instruments down there. I had my pedal steel, my mandolin, which I wound up using a lot on that record, and electric guitars, and they had amps and stuff. But there was this like sort of you know, ante-room between the control room and the tracking room, where there was a phone and a refrigerator, but you'd walk through it to get to the tracking room, right? And there was this electric massage chair in that tracking room, in that little ante-room. And you know, this is really early 90s. This is the first time I'd ever seen an electric massage chair, you know, and this was a pretty deluxe one, you know. And T-Bone loved that chair, and he was just always in the chair. And he was also, T-Bone was like, and I don't know if he's still this way, and it was kind of irritating, but he's like producing 5 records at the same time, and by phone, literally phoning it in. He's with us, or sometimes he wouldn't show up until, we'd get there at like 11 in the morning. He wouldn't show up till 6 at night, and then just like trash everything we'd done and then start again. It's like, could you have come at 11? But anyway, he would be on the phone to Ocean Way Studios in Hollywood producing. I distinctly remember he was producing Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top on some track that wasn't ZZ Top. It was for some soundtrack, but he was producing over the phone, you know, while he was in there, and he's producing from the massage chair. Meanwhile, I'm tracking in that tracking room, and the music would stop, and T-Bone, what do you think? And he'd sort of, you know, lean up from the massage chair, take the phone off his ear and go, I love it, love what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing, and then back into the chair, you know. So that's a kind of a memory of those recording sessions.
I would say that would stick in my head too.
I will say, learned a crucial lesson from T-Bone that I've taken with me will take with me to my grave, about laying back, you know, how to play. And T-Bone's a great musician. He really is. And you know, I was playing a guitar track to a drum track, and he's going, let the drummer get ahead of you. Don't get ahead of the drummer. Let the drummer get ahead of you, like he's an adolescent boy just jacking off, you know.
Driving.
You let him pull you. Don't you pull him. And then he just said, just put your feet up on the mixing board and chew gum. You know, I was like, whoa, okay. And you know, my time got a lot better from that lesson, I will say.
Nice.
And
nice.
Yeah, I still think about it. So I can goof him for producing 5 records at the same time. I can also say that I got that crucial lesson from him.
Well, you I mean, so during those, obviously you hear round here, Rain King, Mr. Jones, you heard all of that before. Oh
yeah, Counting Crows had been going for years before that. And I was always hanging out. Look, I was living with Adam in a warehouse while that was all happening, and I was using David Bryson's studio, and I'd go see them whenever they played. You know, we'd all see each other's bands. It was a really, really fertile time in the Bay Area at that time. This would be the mid '80s. You know. A lot of different bands, a lot of places to play, playing every night. If one of us wasn't playing, we were going out to see one of our friends play, or going out to see some cool band play.
Well, you obviously, I mean, you hear the finished product. You put everything on there. It's polished. When that album is finished and you had put your parts on there and everything's done with it, I mean, obviously it's impossible to you know, pick a hit, But did you did you hear Mr. Jones and go, oh man, once this album comes out, this is.
I probably didn't appreciate any of that stuff at the time, and wasn't really thinking in that way, you know. What's going to be the hit? It all sounded, of a certain quality to me, you know.
Yeah.
But I didn't really appreciate what it really was, you know.
Yeah.
Until much later, you know. And playing those songs still today, and they never get old, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I was going to ask as well. I heard Adam say one time that "Long December" is the only song he could have no problem playing like every night.
We play that song every night. I've never played a Counting Crows show without "Long December."
Do you have any?
It's the only song that's like that.
Do you have any songs that don't get old for you in the Counting Crows collection?
They honestly, it sounds cheesy, but they just don't get old. I just don't get sick of it.
Nice.
I just don't get sick of it.
Well, I mean, you were on. So you were you were a full-time band member by the time you guys released "Accidentally in Love." Wrote "Accidentally in Love."
Yeah, I came back on This Desert Life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've done a bunch of years with John Hyatt.
Well, with "Accidentally in Love," massive song, of course, and it's arguably the most popular Counting Crows song behind Mr. Jones, and you wrote it specifically for Shrek 2. On that one, did that stick out for you?
By then that was specifically written for that exact purpose. Mm-hmm. And it was a funny thing. This was the producers of Shrek. They sort of had this they asked all these people to write songs. And it was we weren't even sure we were going to get it, and we were mid-tour. We were in Europe, and we got the call from the manager. We sort of, Adam had the bulk of the song. We sort of wrote it in hotel rooms and backstage rooms, finished it up, and we had this recording date in London to do it. And it was between a European tour and going to South Africa, and we'd finished in Holland, the Netherlands, and we flew to London, recorded the song, and then flew to South Africa, and just like, maybe they'll use the song, maybe they won't. Next, where are we playing tonight? And didn't even think about it. And then we got the call, 3 weeks later from the manager. They love it. They're using it. It's going in the movie. All right, cool. And then didn't think about it that much. It wasn't particularly the kind of music we were making at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more popular. It's about as far pop as we've ever gone. That's right. Song. It's a 2-minute 45 or something. Is exactly what okay, this is nothing we ever really do, but you want it? Let's see if we can do it, I like it, but it's just not really, it doesn't really represent what the whole scope of what Counting Crows is, Yeah. And people, sometimes people who only know us from that expect that that's what Counting Crows is, and they get disappointed when they see us, but that's okay. That's okay. But anyway, it was really the song was almost like an afterthought in that way. We did it. It was a project. Great. Okay, cool. Probably never hear from them again. Never hear from that song again. Next. And then it went into the movie. And then, I don't know, 9 months later, it's nominated for an Academy Award for that song. It's like, what? Oh, okay.
Well,
it's just a bizarre thing.
It's funny. It's funny you should say that about some people only know you from that song. I have a friend that's he's in his 20s, and I brought up. They were like, "You got anybody coming on the show next week?" And I was like, I'm interviewing Immy from Counting Crows," and he's like, "Counting Crows? I'm not sure I know them." I was like, "Oh, you know them," and he's like, "Wait a second. Is that the band from Shrek?"
Yeah. And hey, it's a wonderful thing. Hey, no shame in the game. We got a whole generation of people just from that,
Oh yeah, for sure. Well,
so that would have been that would have been around 2003 when that came out. That's when we played at the Oscars in 2003 for that song. Mm-hmm. That was that was 10 years into Counting Crows' career, as far as the greater outside world knew.
Yeah.
There'd been a Counting Crows since 1989, but the first record came out in 93, so 2003 Shrek, that's 10 years in, and that's 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Now the newest album came out about a month ago.
Yeah.
Butter Miracle, The Complete Suites.
Yeah.
So this is the first release since the EP Butter Miracle Suite 1, and it's the first album release since Somewhere Under Wonderland.
That's right.
I was thinking about it. I feel like at this point, you guys have accomplished so much. There can't be really too much of a commercial expectation to an album like this. I feel like it's like
we stopped having that after recovering the satellites.
Well, I feel
commercial
like,
expectation.
Am I wrong? Is this more trying to get into the living room jam session?
So me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's always been that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always been that. But yeah, always trying to make something I love.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And and again, that's a lifetime pursuit. And different influences come in and changes what it is you're trying to do. If you've got a good antenna.
I heard you say on one of the songs for this album, you used a synthesizer from your phone.
Yeah.
Which song was that?
I've used it on a couple of different recordings. I used it on a Jesse Malin recording too. It's on Boxcars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And is that one of those things? I mean, it's just I guess it's whatever gets you sort of the best sound, what's ever going in your head.
Yeah, and also it's a little tool I have on my phone that I've been using on other recording sessions I've done. I've used it with The Third Mind, and I've used it in a number of different places.
Mm-hmm.
And I just it's almost just a joke and a challenge. I wouldn't say a joke, but it's a challenge to myself. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can figure out a way to use it on this.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the added joy of irritating bandmates and engineers who are like, "What, you're not going to use that?" Yes, I am.
Got to plug this in. Plug it in. Well, now I never ask, of course, what your favorite song is on the album, because they're all your favorite. They're all songs that you worked on. But if you had to show somebody, if somebody said, "Hey, I've only got time for one song from this album," could you show me what would you tell them to listen to?
Again, it sounds cheesy, but I love these songs so much, more than normal.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been playing them live. We played the suite. Oh, we haven't played the suite yet on this tour because we played it a lot when we released the original version of it.
Mm-hmm.
We were touring on it basically, so we played it every night for a couple of years. But the five newer songs we've been playing, on all the shows so far this tour, and I just love playing them all, I gotta say. Aurora, Under the Aurora, I might single out.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to single out one,
Mm-hmm. I like it.
And it doesn't have a whole lot of guitar centricness on it, but that doesn't, there's just something about that song, and it's really fun to play.
I like it. Well, now the current tour, you've got the Gaslight Anthem opening for you guys on most of these shows. Is this the first time doing any shows with Gaslight Anthem?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. How's it been so far?
So far, so good. Really nice guys. It seems to go over well. I like the music. I knew the singer a little bit from I'm a friend of mine in New York, Jesse Malin, I play with a lot. And during the pandemic, Jesse had this live streaming concert every week that eventually I got involved with and sort of joined his band for that. Mm-hmm. And Brian Fallon, and he'd have remote people, dudes from the Hold Steady doing things and all kinds of different things going on every week. and it actually saved my life. It kept me, busy during the lockdown.
Those idle hands.
It was really, really great, and learned a lot of new music, and it was really, really fun. But Brian from Gaslight Anthem participated in that from remotely.
Yeah.
So I knew him a little bit from that. So
nice.
So well, I mean,
cool. You guys have had a lot of great tours over the last couple of decades. Last year, you played with Santana. And I've seen those videos of you playing the Doors with Mr. Santana.
Yeah.
Would you say there's anything that like tops that experience, or is Santana the top tour experience?
I mean, that moment, it's hard to top for me personally, and also I had a couple of other opportunities at sound checks to play with him, and just to get a sort of a thumbs up from him. And Carlos is a really interesting guy. He speaks in riddles, and he's sort of like stepped out of a Gabriel Garcia Marquez novel or a Jodorowsky film, Holy Mountain or something. But just to get sort of like this thumbs up from him, and I've told this story to a lot of people, and because I'm crazy, I have a log of every gig I've ever seen since the first gig I ever saw, which was in 1972 or 3, and it was Hot Tuna. And the second gig I saw was in 1973, and it was Santana at the Berkeley Community Theater. And it was around the time of his album Caravanserai, so it was very progressive fusion music. And that was the second show I ever saw, and it just burned into me, and Santana was from the Bay Area, so we took civic pride with that. And I learned all manner of Santana stuff, and would read interviews and buy any record he gave thumbs up to, Gabar Zaba, or just made me get more deeper into Bitches Brew, Miles Davis, all kinds of stuff. Huge influence on me. And just style of soul playing, playing from the heart. So to actually play with him and get a thumbs up, and that was really kind of a 50-year full circle type of thing. You know what I mean? So that's a hard one to talk. I met David Gilmour and at a radio thing in London once. That was up there, and we've had several run-ins with Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin. That was also great, always great. So
absolutely,
those are great perks, and to get thumbs up from those people. I get thumbs up from Neil Young once too, which was really, really great. You guys are tough. You guys are a tough band. You're sensitive, but you're tough.
The tagline after he gives it to you.
Yeah,
sensitive but tough.
Yeah. I was like, wow, you just shoot me now, I don't care how much money we make or how good reviews, bad reviews. You get that kind of, thumbs up from your, those kind of people. It's like, I don't care what anyone else thinks, honestly.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully you get a couple more of those this go round on the tour. We're looking forward to seeing you in St. Augustine. Immy, I don't want to take up any more of your time, man.
Hey, man, what a pleasure talking to you. I got to say, I can't believe your deep knowledge, man. You're whipping out Joseph Delay on me. That's crazy. And my mom gets to make an appearance. That's always good luck.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listeners, make sure you check out the new album, The Butter Miracle, The Complete Suites, and on July 19th, you check out the Counting Crows at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Right now, let's take a listen to Under the Aurora right here on the Doc G Show. And we are back here on the Doc G Show. You just heard Counting Crows. My goodness, Mike. I'll tell you. I mean, I wasn't going to outright I thought about asking David this, but like I just didn't think it would be right. But man, I'll tell you, if I were in his case, because he was there, Mike. He was there for every single album that they recorded. He was not a full-time member, though, until after the first 2 albums. And I gotta say, if I helped out on that first album and they asked me to be in the band, and I was like, I'm good. And then I see that album sell 12 million albums, I'd be like, oh, come on. Really? Like, that would burn me. I know David is not a guy that just chases popularity and chases getting millions of albums sold. But for me, I am way too much of a chaser of that. And I would be like, look at that. Oh, God. Like, you know.
It's a lot of albums.
Oh, it's a lot. Yeah. It is a lot. That first album killed, Mike. I mean, and you think, they had so many saved up hits on that first album. I mean, you know, because that was the Mr. Jones album. Sweet. You know, and that was Round Here. That was Rain King was on that album. Ooh. Woo! It was a killer. It was a killer, you know, but nonetheless, they will be here, guys. Everybody will be here. Is Counting Crows here just coming up in what would that be? Next week. Next week they will be here. So get ready at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Going to be fantastic. Can't thank them enough for stopping by. Also, listeners, make sure you get their new album.
That's a fact.
Butter Miracle, The Complete Suites, guys. New album. First new album in a decade's worth of time, Mike. It's been a while.
Nice.
So make sure you check it out. Fantastic. But right now, Mike, we need to move on to the fastest growing segment in the world.
Mike C, Top 3.
Mike C, Top 3. Now, Mike, I want to let you know we're going to restock. I've got some more ideas on Top 3s here. But awesome. This week, of course, we went with Top 3 apps. And by apps, I do not mean applications, listeners. I mean appetizers.
Sweet.
And I love a good app. You know? So, Mike, I guess you would say I went generic except for one. One of them is still like generic because you can find it at places, but there is like a trademark version. Anywho, so do you have any honorable mentions, Mike?
I do.
Okay, I guess I have one. I'll give you one honorable mention. It's probably, in my eyes, it's sort of just skanky, but it's awesome, and I love it.
Yeah, I love that.
You know?
Yeah.
And that is cheese sticks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cheese sticks. Oh, man, I want some cheese
Just
sticks.
your mozzarella sticks, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing like saying, what do we need? A fried piece of cheese. That's what we need. And my God, you get a good cheese stick, Mike? Oh, my Lord. Let me tell you, Mike, there was a teeny little store right beside my school out in the middle of nowhere in Virginia, and they sold buffalo meat.
Sweet.
The store was from a guy in town that owned a buffalo farm, and so it was a restaurant that featured all of their meat. But you know what I got there? Cheese sticks. Their cheese sticks were awesome, and I loved them. Oh my God, they were so unhealthy. Anywho, Mike, what are some of your honorable mentions?
Okay, so risotto balls.
Ooh.
Stuffed risotto balls. Usually fried.
Talk to me.
Yeah. You know, some kind of Italian breadcrumb situation.
Oh, yeah.
Usually you're going to get it at an Italian restaurant. Yeah. Marinara dipping sauce.
I mean, it's basically a cheese ball, let's be honest.
It is.
I mean,
yeah, a lot of
usually
times
there's a good amount of cheese. I was about to say. It doesn't always have to have a good amount, but you've usually got some ricotta in there, or you've got some Parmesan at the very least. Yeah.
Yeah, risotto balls. The other one is, I don't think this is an appetizer, but it is something that I have personally as a pre-meal snack.
Okay.
French onion soup.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I think you could put
French
that
onion soup.
into an app because you do like. I mean, yeah. I guess you don't. I guess it doesn't technically go in it because other people aren't eating it with you. But I do love a great pre-meal French onion soup. Place, Mike, that I go a lot in South Carolina. There's a great little tavern called Crane's Tavern. And Crane's Tavern has some killer steaks, and they have got some killer French onion soup. And I get up in that piece, and I have a French onion soup, and I have a 16-ounce ribeye. Oh, get out of town, Mike. I agree with you. French onion soup, killer. What else you got?
French onion soup. I think that's actually it.
Okay.
Just those two things. Yeah.
Okay. My number 3, Mike. This one's very generic. Basically, chips. But I'll go chips and salsa. I'll go chips and queso. I'll go chips and guac. I'll go nachos. Anything that's got a chip going on it. It's delicious. Yeah. Plus, I think more so than anything else, Mike, it does invite other people to get in on it.
That's right.
You know? A lot of appetizers, people are like, ooh, I don't know, that's not for me. That's too much, you know? Like, you get something that's fancy, or you get something maybe that they don't really try that often. Like, you get some octopus tentacles. You know, you're probably not going to have too many unless you're with an adventurous, cool person, right? Otherwise, they're not going to be getting down on those tentacles. But, like, chips, everybody you can get down on a chip. You know, they'll have 1 or 2 chips. It's why every Mexican restaurant has those chips and salsa when you get there.
It's not even an appetizer.
No,
they
just
it's just put it on the table like
starter.
bread.
Yeah. It's the starter. I would say out of all of those, Mike, I would say chips and queso is my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, you get that warm queso. Ooh, and it's
and the chips when the chips are warm too. Oh my
and it's
God.
a good runny cheese. Like it's just really flow. Like I don't need it that solid. I like a good like liquidy cheese. Ooh, woo! I'm getting hungry, Mike. Mike, what's your number 3?
Outback Steakhouse.
Just in
Do you know what I was gonna say?
Bloomin'
I was
onion.
gonna say Bloomin' Onion.
Yeah, that's my number 2, Mike. That's my specific. That's my specific. Bloomin' Onion is the best, man. Oh,
yeah, it is.
Oh my God, Mike! I'll tell you. I mean, and that's why I said there are competitors. There are other people that make something comparable to the Bloomin' Onion, some type of fried onion. It's not as good.
Never seen it.
That Bloomin' Onion. First of all, my God. The amount you get, that's a lot of appetizer. I mean, they take a
good value.
They take a full onion and they fry that whole thing just sliced out, and it's I remember I took a lady friend on a date way back. I think this was like 9th grade or something, 10th grade, something like that. Took her to Outback Steakhouse because I'm a fancy guy.
Yeah. And 9th or 10th grade. I mean, you might as well be taking them to freaking Shula's Steakhouse.
Black tie affair, Mike.
Yeah.
We went to Outback. That was the first thing. I was like, App, you want the Bloomin' Onion? Which is, I mean, who doesn't want to smell like a giant pile of fried onion afterwards? Let's start making out. We both have onion. Let's get it, you know?
Not a great date appetizer. You got to, like, your greasy fingers.
Oh, man, and I remember, too, because we ate the whole thing, me and her. And, like, I remember afterwards. I was like, this is a bad idea. I'm so bloated off of fried onion. This was a bad idea. But, oh, it's so delicious. So good. Well, Mike, your number 2.
My number 2, spicy shrimp and eggplant at Brio.
Oh.
It's Brio is like an Italian restaurant. They call it the Brio Tuscan Grill. Spicy shrimp and eggplant. It's a, spicy shrimp. And then fried eggplant, which I'm a huge fried eggplant fan because I know that it takes a lot of prep to make good fried eggplant.
Absolutely.
Like you have to soak it. But and then it comes with this like brown peppercorn sauce. I mean, I'll go to Brio not even for their main courses.
Right.
I'll go there just for that appetizer.
You know that's a good place when you go just for the app. Now,
yeah, spicy shrimp and eggplant.
Number one for me, Mike. Now, generic, number one, this is what I look for apps. Wings.
Yes! Oh, yeah.
Generic.
Okay.
Generic, I always look for wings. And now, I have over the years become a little bit of a snob. Like, if it's just like sort of a generic, like if it's like a Applebee's, I'm not going to waste my time on some wings. But I will say, my favorite wing, and this is ridiculous, and people are going to think I'm just stunting for them now, Outback.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I have a hard time choosing, Mike. When I go to an Outback, and I'm thinking, appetizer, and I'm like, should I go bloomin' onion? Should I go wings? I generally go wings. I rarely get the bloomin' onion just because I love their wings so much. Oh my God, their wings are so good, Mike.
I've never had them.
Oh, it's similar breading to the bloomin' onion, but it's not too much breading on them, and it's just got a little bit of spice, but it's not even like that much of a buffalo spice. It's just like a general spicy flavor. Oh God, they're good, Mike. Oh, I could eat them by the pound, and I do when I go there. I eat them by the pound. They are so, but I do love wings in general, Yeah.
Yeah, I'm indifferent about wings as an appetizer because it seems like it's like a main course.
That's true. And a lot of times I will turn it into a main course.
Yeah.
I have actually gone to Outback and just ordered multiple orders of their wings and been like, done. That's it. I'm good. And talk about looking like the classy guy at Outback when you're just like, I just want a ton of wings. That's it. Yeah. Just bring those. I'll be here. But, whoo, they are good, Mike. Mike, you're number one.
My number one, fried zucchini.
Ooh.
That's I'll get fried zucchini if it's an appetizer and it's available as an appetizer anywhere I go. I'll get fried zucchini.
Nice. I will say it's a little. To me, it's a little bit. You do run the line because you can make it either like you can make the zucchini too hard or too soft. You just get that mush. Like you like a little bit of resistance. It's somewhat the same to me as either fried green tomatoes or as pickles, fried pickles. Both of those, like, you got to get that right amount of fry. If you don't get that right amount of fry, then you're just like, you got these soggy, wet chips that aren't that good. Or you've got too crisp that you're like, what am I eating, a fresh zucchini? Get the here, this is gross. I want to eat this thing.
I always take a chance and go with it because...
well, it usually doesn't.
I don't know if I've ever been disappointed.
No.
Especially, hey, special shout out to Carrabba's Italian Grill. Their fried zucchini, in my opinion, is so far the best that I've ever had. Their like garlic aioli sauce that comes with it.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Can't go wrong with a garlic aioli. Basically, you're just saying some garlic mayonnaise. Let's get this going.
Yep.
Oh man, it's good, Mike. Okay, here's my suggestions. Here's my my top 3 suggestions. First one, top 3 attributes or amenities you would like to see in your dream Zillow listing.
I love that.
What are the 3 things you need to see in that amazing Zillow listing? Next one, top 3 overrated movies. What do you hear that you say, what? Why do you like that crap? What is that? What are those movies? Top 3 overrated movies. Next one, top 3 places you know you're going to have to wait when you visit. What are the 3 places that you like? For instance, a DMV. For instance, a store that always has a line. A restaurant that you get takeout that you know, oh crap, this is going to take forever.
So top 3 places that you want to go where you know where there's going to be a wait?
Where you have to go.
Where you have
regardless, you're going to have to go. You don't have an option. It may be because you want to eat there and you're just like, I got to do it. I got to wait. Or like maybe it's a amusement park and you're like, I gotta go, I love it, but it's a wait. Or it could just be a place that you have to go for an errand and you're like, oh, there's no way, I gotta do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, top 3 places to stop and pee on a road trip. What are your top 3 options?
I love this.
When you're going down on a road trip, what are you looking for on those signs that are going to make you pull off for
a good
pee
one.
stop? Next one, top 3 games to play with a group of people. And these games, I'm not talking about like board games. I'm talking about if you had a group of people outside, like a field day, what would be your favorite elementary school games? So I'll give you some options. Things like capture the flag, things like freeze tag, things like kickball, things like dodgeball. What would be the top 3 elementary school games you would get a group of people to play? Next one, real simple one. Top 3 90s summer jams. I know we've done summer songs, and I know we've done 90s songs. We have not done just 90s summer jams. So, top 3 90s summer jams. And the last suggestion I got, top 3 animals you want to see when you go to the zoo. What are the first 3 places you're going to visit when you go to a zoo to see if they have those animals? All right. That's my suggestions, Mike. What do we want to do next week?
I'm going to go with, because we already kind of talked about it just a tiny bit on the show, amenities and Dreamzilla listing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like it.
Yeah.
Like it. Okay, Mike, top 3 amenities on our Dreamzilla listing. That is next week. Mike, we need to move on to our birthday suits. I think you might have one, and then the other I'm not so sure. I give the one that I'm not so sure like 40%. The other I give 75. They're both musicians. Which one do you want?
We'll go with the 75.
Okay. Born on July 9th, 1975 in Detroit, Michigan. He was the lead singer of the White Stripes, and he was featured on American Pickers Season 23, Episode 2 and Episode 6. The episodes are all about a mobile recording studio, Mike. Name that birthday suit wearer.
Is it Jack Black?
Very close. Choose another color or absence of color.
Jack White?
Jack White is correct. Yes. There we go. Yeah, Jack Black is that dude. Jack White.
Jack Black is
the comedian, the lead singer of Tenacious D.
Tenacious D, yes.
And the lead in Minecraft and School of Rock and other such great movies.
Right. Yeah, I always get their names confused.
Jack White. Correct, Mike. Correct. Started playing music in his teens. First instrument he played was drums, then he switched to guitar. Had a band first called the Upholsters. Then he formed a band, the White Stripes, with his wife, but they posed as sister and brother for, I guess, to weird people out. I don't know. But they acted like they were brother and sister like the whole time they were in the band. Then they got a divorce, and it was like, oh, okay. But the band had all kinds of great success. Dead Leaves in the Dirty Ground, good jam. Fell in Love with a Girl, Icky Thump, and of course, huge song and Seven Nation Army. Many others. Our birthday suit wearer started solo career in 2012. Our birthday suit wearer has won 12 Grammys. Not as many as an upcoming guest on the show. No big deal. But he will be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Mike, this year with the White Stripes. So there we go. Happy birthday to old Jack White. Turning the big 5-0. 5-0 for Jack White. Happy birthday, Jack White. The next one, Don't think you got this one, Mike, but we'll give it a shot. Here we go. Born on July 9th, 1946 in Forfar, Scotland. Our birthday suit wearer was the original singer of AC/DC, singing songs like Highway to Hell, It's a Long Way to the Top, TNT, Dirty Deeds Done Cheap, and plenty of others. Any idea, Mike?
No idea.
No idea.
What about initials? Let me get some initials.
BS.
No idea.
Bon Scott, Mike. Bon Scott was the lead singer of AC/DC. He first played in the bands The Spectres and the Valentines before he joined the band AC/DC in 1974. And when he joined them, he was working as the band's chauffeur. And then when they needed a lead singer, he auditioned, and he won the job. And he went on to be known as the best frontman in rock and roll history, according to the magazine Classic Rock. Classic Rock magazine ranked him as the #1 greatest frontman of all time.
Jeez. Nice.
Sadly, our birthday suit wearer died in 1980. Alcohol poisoning. The band continued on with another singer, Brian Johnson, and they released their next album as a tribute to Bon Scott. The album was Back in Black, and it is the second best-selling album of all time.
That's incredible.
Yes.
It's incredible that they were able to come back with a new lead singer. You know, usually when the lead singer goes,
it's exactly, exactly. And the crazy part is, it's one of those like, I don't want to do any Brian Johnson slandering, but I do have to say, as a true front man, I think Bon was better. But it's insane to think that they came back with Brian Johnson and they literally made the second most famous album of all time. The only thing that has sold more albums than that, than Back in Black, is Thriller. Literally, the only thing is Thriller. Like, that's crazy. That is crazy. Mike, I went down a rabbit hole when I was looking at as far as like the most famous or the most highest selling albums of all time. And it is insane to see that Michael Jackson has 3 in the top 15, 3 of the top selling albums of all time in the top 15. That's how insanely effing popular that guy is. Thriller, Bad, and Dangerous. All over 40 million albums.
Insane.
Oh, it's nuts, Mike. But anyway.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's not Michael Jackson's birthday. It would be none other than Bon Scott's birthday. So, happy birthday to Bon Scott. Happy birthday to Jack White. And, of course, none other than happy birthday to Mr. Tom Hanks. Mike, we need to wrap it up. I have been your host. I do want to let everybody know, fantastic shows coming up. We got some great ones. Dan Tominski. Oh, my gosh. This guy was a pleasure to interview. I can't wait to talk to him. We've got some other great interviews coming up. But until then, I have been your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus, the Fernicus, Charette.
Always a pleasure, Doc G. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And until next week, zip it up and zip it out.